Welcome to this video on how to save your marriage. My name is Lee Balcom and I'm the internet's leading marriage expert. Now if you want to save your marriage, the first question you're going to have to ask is, should you even save this marriage? That's a pretty tough question to ask, and I'm going to ask it up front because you see 100% of marriages have problems. Every single marriage has problems. About 50% survive those problems, so it's almost a coin toss. Now understand that divorces do not end relationships, and they often only complicate them. I say that because many people have this fantasy that once they're divorced, they don't have to deal with this other person, and they are sadly mistaken. If you have kids involved, as the vast majority of divorces do in the United States, then you have to have a relationship with this other person for the rest of your life. So it does not end the relationship, it only changes it, and often in very complicated ways. Understand that divorces remove all security that children understand. It pulls the rug right out from under them, and it is not without consequences. There have been studies that have shown that kids are not affected by divorce, and every one of those studies has been shown to be flawed. There are consequences. Kids can make it through life from a divorce. We all know that, but there are consequences to divorce, and they are negative consequences for kids. Now there is an exception that I'm going to hold up, and that is abusive marriages. I do not support saving abusive marriages. The reason I do is because abuse is dangerous and it escalates. It almost always gets worse, and it is life-threatening. So I cannot condone saving abusive marriages. But beyond that, I do think that marriages should be saved, but that's a question you're going to have to face. So if you've answered that yes, you do want to save your marriage, then you have to answer the question of where to start. Now, the only place you can start is with yourself. And in order to start with yourself, you have to stop the panicking, stop the begging, stop the arguing, and calm down. Our first initial response when somebody says, hey, I want a divorce, I want out of this relationship, is to get into panic mode. The problem with panic mode is it puts us in a very primitive way of relating. And that primitive way of relating is either fight or flight. We either want to struggle with them, that's where the begging and arguing come in, or we just kind of walk away from it. These are counterproductive to where we want to get to. So we